Hello there. I'm David A. Specht, and I want to be your coach. If there's anything that I have learned in my 30 plus years of leadership and coaching, I have learned that mindset is everything. Join me and my guests as we explore the positives and negatives of that thing between our ears. This is Keep This in Mind. Welcome to this week's lesson, The Trap of the Familiar. Now, those of you watching my video, the splash screen said getting lost in operations, and both are true. I want to go ahead and jump in today and share with you a few thoughts. I'm going to be very transparent because this speaks to me as much as it's going to speak to you. I'm so susceptible to the familiar. Now, let me explain that. Operations is my jam. Okay, I started off in an operational position in my company, learning everything from graphic design to bookkeeping, writing. You know, those of you who have followed me and know my story know that I was 30 plus years in the newspaper business. And those are my defaults. Like when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm, in over my head, I default back to operations. I default back to the familiar. And I can stay busy all day doing those things. There's always something operational that can be done, that can be improved upon. I've built websites. I've done, graphic design on ads. I can get lost in chasing down that missing penny in bookkeeping. All of these things. But is that really moving my business forward? And do you find yourself falling into that trap? Maybe you're really, really good at design and you love doing the design work and that is your skill set, but you own a design company. Maybe you're really, really good at organizing people and you default to creating some project where you get to organize people. But at the end of the day, your bottom line still looks the same or worse. Here's the thing. Familiar feels productive. Familiar work, you get a quick win, it's comfortable, you feel empowered, you feel confident, right? Confidence is the memory of past success. And you feel confident because you've been here, done that, and got really good at it. And yes, while operations are a necessary part of the business, is it your necessary part of the business? You see, operations maintain the business, but leadership and growth and business development, that's what grows the business. And if your business isn't growing, you may want to take a hard look at your daily activities. Look, your skill can be your biggest asset or your biggest distraction. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Your skill may be your biggest asset, but it may also be your biggest distraction. Back to telling on myself. Look, I'm the kind of guy that likes to have a plan, likes to know where the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted to make sure everything flows. But can I tell you that if I lose an entire day trying to make some sort of process perfect, that's a day I've lost in business development. That's a day I've lost in self-development. That's a day I've lost in sales. And maybe I prioritize those things out of fear of doing the other things. Well, I can't get to this today because, and look, it's happening to me literally this week. Example. For those of you who know me, and again, good to know those of you who don't yet, I am embarking on a real estate career. Now, it's not what I expected at 56 years old, but I start seeing like a lot of the skills I have really benefiting that. And I have a desire to help people. And what better way than to help people with their largest purchase of their life and putting them on the path to being where they want to be, or helping somebody navigate a situation. This all really resonates with me. But here's the thing. Short of not having my license, which I do now, that's really all I need to get started. But you know how my brain works? Well, I have to have business cards. I have to have signs. I have to have this. I have to have a website, showing me. I have to have the headshot of me looking all successful as a real estate. And while those are definitely needed, if I'm waiting to take action because I am waiting for all the things, then I am doing myself a disservice. My mentor, Jim, he said to me, David, you're in transition and that's cool, but you need to touch 25 people every single day to begin to build that momentum, whether you're ready or not. And that really kind of sat with me. I was like, okay, I'm getting bogged down in the worry of all the things instead of doing the one thing that I know I need to be doing. Am I resonating with anybody here today? Look, leading means choosing the unfamiliar, whether it's business development, whether it's having those conversations and introducing yourself, whether it's networking or delegating. Oh my gosh, as a leader, delegating is one of the hardest things because nobody's going to do it the way you would have done it. Let me say that again. Nobody's going to do it the way you would have done it. And that's okay. Leaders don't always do what's familiar. They do what's necessary. And are you a leader? Because if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, by default, you're leading somebody. And maybe that somebody is you. But at the end of the day, what are you doing to move the business forward? What are you doing to move yourself forward? And are the activities that you're doing today doing that? Or are you getting lost in operations? Look, I moved away from where my primary businesses were 4 years ago. Yet my brain spends more time there than it does where I am currently. Now, again, some things are necessary. Some things you have to do. But some things maybe I'm doing simply because it's familiar. And familiar and comfort is never going to lead you to where you want to go. Excuse me. So, what do we do? What do we do about this? This is not easy. This transition, going from operations or an operator to a leader, the transition from manager to owner, the transition from owner to investor. Those of you who've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you've got to answer these questions every day. If you've got a pen and paper, I encourage you to write this down. If you have your AI taking notes, hey, AI, take these notes. Number one, what activities actually create future revenue? Just like the not being ready for real estate now, what phone call am I going to make today that may not produce a listing today, but starts a relationship that could produce a listing or a referral down the line? What connection, real, authentic human connection can I make today that will potentially produce future revenue? What information can I share today that will produce future revenue? How many people do you have in your own database, your own contacts on your phone that you haven't made connection with in the last 6 months? Time gets away from us. Make the connection today. 2, what am I doing because I'm good at it, but someone else could do? Big question. Now, when it comes to delegation, I want to give you one caveat, because some of us are really good at compartmentalizing and we're like, look, I'm pushing this thing off. I'm going to concentrate because that's what David told me to do. Delegation isn't abdication. Delegation isn't abdication. That means you're still responsible. You still got to make sure the quality is there. You just don't have to do the work. Great leaders understand they don't have to do all the work. They just got to make sure that all the work gets done. So if you've got things that you need to delegate, begin that process today. Figure out what the upfront cost is versus the long-term benefit. You can do it with a virtual assistant. You can maybe offload it to somebody in your organization. You may be able to find a vendor who can do it. You may be able to find software that can do what you're doing manually. Whatever it is, free your time up to do those unique things that only you can and should do. And number 3, what should I focus on if my goal was growth, not comfort? What would I focus on if my goal was growth, not comfort? Perhaps it would be something as simple as some personal development, finding a coach, doing the things necessary, doing one activity today that makes you uncomfortable. Look, I'm a wallflower when it comes to network marketing, network meetings. Go there with business cards and you exchange and you make small talk. Hey, what do you do? Hey, what do I do? But you know what? The only way I'm going to get better at it is if I put myself in more situations where that is required. What areas can you put yourself into that are uncomfortable but grow you personally and professionally? Here's a couple of action steps. You ready? Number 1, identify one operational task to reduce or delegate this week. One operational task to reduce or delegate this week. Number 2, block time for one growth activity. Put it on your calendar. Have it pop up those notifications to remind you, hey, the next 30 minutes, the next hour, the next 15 minutes, if that's all you can muster right now, to do the one thing that will grow you. Look, operations keep the lights on, but leadership turns the light outward. Let me say that again. Operations keep the light on. They're required. But your leadership will turn the lights outward to the future, to your purpose, to where you're headed to go. Look, as we close out this morning, I just want to encourage you. You may not be ready for all this. I wasn't. Nobody ever is. In the familiar will always call your name. You will want to drift right back into operations. You want to drift back into that skill that you honed that gives you the immediate gratification. I'm just asking you to begin the journey of stepping into true leadership where you're always working on the things that grow instead of just the things that run. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Put something in the comments. Those of you on the podcast, like and share. But let's all be better leaders together, and let's do what it takes. Remember, if you can think it, you can do it. If you see it behind your eyes, you can have it in your hands. Applied knowledge is power. God bless. That is going to do it for this episode of Keep This in Mind. For more, visit davidaspecht.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and remember, applied knowledge is power. God bless.